Hi, welcome to Parent Alienation is Child Abuse Unfiltered. Thank you all for being here today and welcome to the new subscribers. I thank you all and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, I'd welcome you to do so. Hit the little ding-dong bell so you don't miss a notification whenever I release a video. Today I'm going to do a discussion about do they have a conscience? Do narcissistic parents who alienate their children have a conscience? Short answer to this is no. Because if these people had a conscience, they wouldn't do this in the first place. If they cared, they wouldn't do this in the first place. They wouldn't inflict the emotional trauma onto their child, let alone to their ex-partner, whoever that happens to be. Narcissistic people don't have a conscience until it's pushed into their face. Usually this happens when they're older, when the kids start asking questions, when the kids want answers and these people are old. And if they're not honest with their children and be forthcoming with why they've done what they've done, because the kids, like I've said in my previous videos, kids will ask questions and they're entitled to the answers. They're entitled to truthful answers. Now, whether a narcissist will be truthful to these children is another question, because they haven't been truthful throughout their upbringing. So lying is part of their physique, if you'd like to call it that. And do they have a conscience? Well, when they get old, they do, because they feel sorry for themselves because no one wants to be around them. But do they feel any remorse or pity for what they've done? Or what they're doing, if they're doing it now? I would hope some of these videos that I'm creating would wake some narcissistic people up to the harm they're doing to their children. Because whether they have a conscience or not, these kids are affected. These kids are damaged. These kids have their lives changed forever due to a spiteful person. A narcissistic person who feels it's their right to alienate their child and treat their child like a piece of property. What happens when these children are crying out at night time for their other parent? Do these narcissistic parents have any remorse or pity for these children? You might find some that do. Some that will go explain to the child why the circumstances have arrived. If the child's old enough to understand certain stuff, you have to put it into age-appropriate discussions. But ones I deal with on here, they don't care. They don't care as long as they feel like they're in power. Because the narcissistic people that I talk about on here are all about power and control. They thrive on this. They think they're mighty powerful, being able to manipulate children and to feel like they're in control on who's allowed to see that child and who's not allowed to see that child. And we know many of these children cry out for their parents or their grandparents, or they talk about their cousins, aunties, uncles. That there's repercussions for this. These children are not allowed to speak about their parent or their grandparents on the extended side of the family. Because in the narcissistic person's eyes that does this alienation, to them, because they've moved on and they've have grievances for whatever grievances they feel they have, usually it's just because someone's left them and they don't like that they feel entitled to cause hurt and become spiteful. My last video talked about spite and how damaging and poisoning that is. These narcissistic people thrive on spite. They thrive on hurting people. As I said before, it makes them feel powerful. Do they feel remorse for this? No. Do they have a conscience? That's questionable. Because some of these narcissistic people go to extreme ways. Some of these narcissistic people go to extremes to cause as much hurt and disruption to people's lives as they can. This is all about parent control. They manipulate the children into not wanting to see their parent or turning the child against the other parent. They don't feel sorry for that. They feel powerful for that. Are they hurting their child? Yes, they are. Do they care? No. Because in their mind, they're hurting the other parent or hurting the extended family. The child's feelings not even close to being in their mind. So no, they don't have remorse and they don't feel sorry for what they've done. How do children function in a family like that? Well, if a child has no other example in life on how to behave properly and how emotions and caring for people should be, then there's a high chance some of these children will turn out exactly like their narcissistic parent and will go forward and repeat that circle that they've been shown. How can someone wake up a narcissist to understand that what they're doing isn't really benefiting anybody? It's not really benefiting them either, although they feel like they are, because like I said, they're in power and control. That's what they thrive on. But it doesn't really benefit them, because in the end a lot of people wake up to what they're like. That's what a lot of times why these people move so much. We spoke before last time about how children are shuffled from school to school or moving around from town to town, suburb to suburb, to state to state. Move to the other side of Australia. They do this so it makes it impossible for the other family, the extended family or the parent of that child to have regular contact. Do they feel remorse for that? No. Do they care about the child's feelings? No. The thing is, these people don't care. They don't care till they're old. They don't care till they're old and the questions are being asked and they're forced to answer for what they've done. Because the children will grow up and they'll have contact with other people that know certain things about their family. One thing with the media world and having platforms like YouTube, Facebook, things like that, some of these kids are able to track down their relatives. Some people watch videos on the exact same subject I'm talking about. There's a lot of platforms out there that cover this subject because, it's like I've said, this is an epidemic. And these kids want answers to why their heads are screwed up about how they're feeling about their parent when they have no memory of the stuff that's been told to them about it. These kids go through life struggling to learn at school, struggling to make friends, struggling to build bonds, struggling to cope with life. We spoke before about how children deal with their frustrations as they grow. As they get older, primary school, high school, young adolescents, teens, they start lashing out. They start getting angry. They don't concentrate at school because their mind's too busy what's going on at home, or where their parents are, or where's their extended family, how they're going. Just heard through the grapevine there's another baby here. Never got to see the other 3 that were born because the narcissist parent wouldn't let them. So these children are robbed of half their life because they're only living with half a family. Let that sink in for a bit. Missing out on half your life that you could have with the other half of your family, an extended family. But you can't, because your mother or your father's full of spite and hate and won't allow you. And that's what it is. They won't allow the child to have communication at all with any of them. But the kids get older and they start finding things, like I said. Social media is a great thing for that sort of thing. Kids can educate themselves. I educated myself through books. Didn't have social media when I grew up. We had books and I was a bookworm. I wanted to know the answers to what was happening to me and why I was angry at myself, why I was angry at the people around me. You get angry at yourself because you allow it to happen and you feel angry that you're a child and you don't have a say. And you get frustrated with that. You get angry because the people around you are meant to protect you and keep you safe. And these people don't do that. These people allow things to happen to you They allow people to hurt you. They allow people to manipulate you. Because they don't care about the child. They just care about the hurt they cause with holding that child. They don't care what that child goes through. They do care when they get phone calls from school saying the child's lashed out again and thrown a chair, or the child's lashed out and won't do any work in class. She's not focusing. He's not focusing. He keeps mucking up. Branded a naughty child. We've spoke about that in past videos too, how these children, because of their frustration with their life that their parents have given them, the narcissistic parent more so, have given them that these kids lash out in anger and hostility, and are branded a naughty child because of that. When the finger pointing should be done to the narcissistic parent, and the narcissistic parent should be held accountable for what they've done to that child. As we spoke before, this is child abuse. In any other language, an adult hurting a child, mentally, physically, it's child abuse. But these people keep doing it. These people seem like they're getting away with it all the time. This is where I trust a higher power, whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever it happens to be. I believe there's something out there. As I've spoken in previous videos of mine, that I've been protected by this force, be it God, be it the universe. I've had it on my back. It's been watching my back since I was able to escape the trauma I was inflicted upon me. It's turned me into this voice for the voiceless. And I'm feeling thankful that I have people jumping on board that are listening to me. I'm hoping that the narcissists that are out there that are jump on board here, that listen to, wake up. Wake up to what they're doing, wake up that it's not going to last forever. You don't get to have power over everybody forever. All that happens is one day things will change and the narcissist will be alone. And then they'll feel remorse. Then they'll be full of self-pity, because they like to cry victim. Well, in the end, the victims will speak up and push the narcissist away. That's their own fault. All comes back to parenting properly. Relationships don't work out. Don't have to turn nasty and spiteful. Co-parent together. Co-parent that child. It's not the child's fault. I can't say that enough. It's not the child's fault. The relationship didn't work out. But it's the child who pays the price. I really want to get people to understand that life's a choice. Everything you do in life is a choice. You get to choose how you start your day. You get to choose how you finish your day. In the world of narcissistic parenting, these kids don't get a choice. They don't get a choice what happens to them. They don't get a choice on who they're allowed to see and who's allowed to be in their life. They don't even get an explanation. What they get is hostility and abuse if they ask about it. Some people, some kids, are unfortunate enough to receive physical abuse because they speak up and want to ask questions. This is another method that narcissistic parents use to control the children. They install fear into them. They install fear of speaking. They install fear of looking sideways at somebody. And if you're a small child and you cry out for your mother or your father, as I've stated before, this isn't a gender specific thing. There's just as many bad men as what there is bad women. And as I've stated before, if you're a narcissistic parent, you don't have a right to raise a child, because what you're doing is just damaging the child for your own enjoyment. But it will come around one day. Things will change. Kids will wake up. And then won't you be full of self-pity then? Oh, she won't talk to me anymore. Oh, he never comes and sees me anymore. I don't know what I did wrong. I did everything for you. I alienated you from your mother or your father for you. Yeah, right. Think if children have access to both parents, children can make their minds up themselves about whether they want to be in those parents' lives. As I studied before, kids remember everything. They remember the arguments that are at home. They remember the hostility, the bully, who was the bully. And they will choose whether they want to be part of that person's life. But they should be given a chance to discover that themselves. They shouldn't be forced to not speak to one parent or have communication with one parent simply because the narcissistic parent says so. I don't like him anymore, so you can't like him anymore. I don't like her anymore, so you can't like her anymore. That's the attitude they have. And you're not allowed to speak about them. Not allowed to cry about them. It's important not to show weakness to a narcissist. And it's hard as you're a child because you don't have them skills. You show weakness to a narcissist and they'll have that wrapped around their hands to use on you anytime that they feel like it. Anytime they feel like they're losing a grip on you. But they can't do it forever. So if anybody's out there and they're stuck in this position, and you have access to books, you have access to online material, do your research. Research how narcissistic parents alienating their children affects the child's upbringing. How it robs that child of a happy, healthy life. And do they have a conscience of what they're doing for that? Not until they're older. They don't. And sometimes even then, they still think they're right. That's how embedded it is in their brain that they have to be in control and in power. In control about everything. Don't dare question them. You question them, they're going to turn on you. That's what they do. They'll take you to court and make allegations against you. That's what they'll do. Especially if you're going to court to try to fight for your child. Yeah. Narcissistic people can be very nasty. Well, I'm just doing a short one today. Just wanted to do that one about do they have a conscience? I think I've pretty well covered that they don't until it's too late. And the kids that are out there that are stuck in this, stay strong, guys. Won't last forever, although it seems like it is. It doesn't last forever. Just take each day, one day at a time. Don't make waves. Don't draw attention to yourself. Let the narcissists be a narcissist on their own. Don't feed into their bullshit, because you'll just feed their power. And they like that. Anyway, guys, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll catch you on my next one. See ya.